Don't call me racist. As a teacher, you're my student.
I gave you your answer.
I'm not arguing.
And you sometimes I got to tell you.
Okay.
Get your hands off of me.
I said, hold on.
You got 5 seconds to get your hands.
What you gonna do?
You got 5 seconds to get your hands on me.
What you gonna do?
You got 5 seconds to get your hands on me. I ain't gonna do nothing. You gonna get your ass.
All right, man. Take the backpack off. We finna go to jail. Don't resist me, dude. What is it? Don't resist me. Don't do it. I got you.
Throw me around.
Because you didn't listen. I told you to get up.
I didn't have no right to be treated the way you treated me. Why are you still holding me?
Take the bag off. Take the bag off. Take it off. The bag off.
Why did you harass me?
That's all it is.
I can't breathe. Let go of me, remove yourself from me so I can get myself together.
Come on, man.
I said I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
So, there you have a school officer roughing up violently, trying to arrest a child or a student there, because that's what they do in school, I guess, right? This occurred in Tennessee. In fact, Hamilton County, East Ridge High School out there in Tennessee. You might wonder, what the hell would prompt all this? He's standing there and everybody's yelling and mad at him. Maybe it was just, they didn't like the way he spoke to them. So let's go to details. The student identified as Taurus Sledge. He's 18 years old and he is facing multiple charges, according to a sworn affidavit in support of his arrest. The charges include assault, resisting arrest, and obstruction of legal process. Let's figure out what legal process this is. There was a coach there who started this whole thing who was in his face, and he was demanding that he actually do what he told him to do. So he was mad about kickball not being played, and this student wanted to do something else. He said he was sick, so he sat down and got back up and played basketball instead. That's when the confrontations happened. That was the first dose of disrespect that they didn't like, that this kid gave them. So he decided to bring in this cop, this SRO, to handle this whole situation. And according to this affidavit, that school resource officer, his name is Tyler McRae, he was contacted over the radio by the gym coach to assist with Sledge, who was described as being aggressive. So he started off right away with that energy because he wanted some muscle behind him to enforce what he was angry about. So the coach had organized this game of kickball, but Sledge said that he wasn't feeling well, opted to sit out, and later he then played basketball. When the coach later approached him to ask why he was playing basketball if he wasn't feeling well, Sledge started puffing out his chest and calling the coach racist. Yeah, he just called him racist because he walked up and said, "Why are you playing basketball?" I'm sure that's why. Anyways, so that officer, McRae, he felt that Sledge was being too defensive, and that's why he had to arrest him. So being too defensive is a reason to be arrested. Also sprayed in the face with whatever that was that he sprayed him in the face with, because he was obviously being wild and coming after you. Details on that, McRae stated that he then became defensive and felt as if Sledge was preparing to assault him. He ordered Sledge to stand up and place his hands behind his back, which the student refused to do, again, according to that affidavit. Before we go to the fallout, maybe some response to this, Francesca, we see this guy. He didn't want to play kickball. He's 18 years old. I'm not sure why they're playing kickball with 18-year-olds in the first place. I remember doing that in 3rd grade. But they want to play kickball, said he was sick, sat down, got back up and did something else. Is this gym class or is this like tell you what to do class? Maybe there's some organization to it, but does it really need to go to this extent because you don't like that he didn't do what you told him to do? That's really what this boils down to.
Right, and I mean, this is one instance that was caught on camera, and what's incredible is just how many times in school, especially black and brown kids are treated like this, right? They're treated like if they don't comply perfectly and specifically, then you'll get the police called on them, and then that is what we call that school to prison pipeline. You treat kids like inmates. And then guess what? You don't educate them properly, and guess what? Lack of like resources, et cetera, and they do wind up in prison for often nonviolent offenses, right? Things like this, things as stupid like this. And if he were a cop, man, maybe we would be watching a video where it did not end with him alive, right? So this is just, it is what happens every day, and on this show, the videos and the heinous things that we watch police do, but you're seeing it on a school level scale, and then we wonder what happens and why cops are so violent. It's because, and a lot of these school officers, I mean, they're either former police officers on their way to being officers, whatever it was, right? So, it's just disgusting to see this kind of discipline in this way.
So when these guys, their mind is on violence and aggression, and then the gym coach knows that and says, hey, this guy's being aggressive, come. Then the next step comes where that cop then says, I felt he was preparing to attack me. How do you see someone preparing to attack you and you don't know who they are? You in his head, do you understand how that whole thing works? Yeah, he just sees a black kid, and of course he's prepared to attack me because he's not obeying me. Yeah. By the way, let's jump down to graphic 6, you guys, because I think this kind of fits. Because this officer, Tyler McRae, he's had some legal issues in the past. I bet you could have guessed that. He's facing a federal suit from 2019 over an illegal strip and search. An attorney for several Hamilton County teenagers who claimed they were illegally pulled over and strip searched by 2 Hamilton County deputies says one of the deputies is speaking out about the case on social media. He's looking to defend himself. Robin Flores represents one of the 14-year-old girls who says she was involved in this stop with McRae. In federal court paperwork filed on December 1st, Flores claims that Tyler McRae commented about the traffic stop on WTVC's November 6th Facebook post. And he said that the female story is not true and that it's already been proven. But in the court paperwork, Flores says McRae made those comments from sheer foolhardiness or from knowledge that he won't be prosecuted. Pretty obvious there, but whenever these guys, whatever you said, many times these officers are either trying to be cops, they're aspiring cops, or they're former cops. There's always still something to prove, and this guy has a track record of always looking like he's trying to prove something. An illegal strip search of children, huh? So let's go to a high school and start attacking kids there too. But we're talking about assault charges and resisting arrest charges for this kid who was in school.
Yes. And how is that gonna, follow him for the rest of his life on some BS? On some, I didn't play kickball because I just didn't want to play kickball. Let him sit there. Don't call in any officer. Calm down, everybody.
Yeah, it's the disrespect, and that's why he called him racist, and that's why they're now trying to push back on that.